we were bringing in $652 a month, only for that to plummet back down to $343, and we cannot survive without your support.
I understand what it's like to be a creator and struggle. To me, it might just come off as like a little entitled.
It feels like I'm standing on a ledge which is slowly crumbling beneath my feet.
Are you doing something about it? Is what you're doing about it just complaining?
Adita has found herself a job in the meantime.
So what do? Do you make your partner do all the work and then you don't work? I would start developing pretty deep resentment towards you.
I've noticed YouTube seems to be suggesting older videos less and less.
I feel like the fact that you're even aware of that suggests that you gotta do something else. You're preoccupying your mind with irrelevant to me.
I cannot live under the current system.
The current system. The insinuation is that, hey, the system is so broken I can't survive.
And I'd rather swallow my pride than end my career.
Ending your career probably would be swallowing your pride. If there's anything that you watch in this whole video, if you watch it, here's my one big piece of advice, okay? Alright, so I have no idea what this is, but Nicholas Dioro said I have to watch it. I'm not going to put the video on there because I don't feel like managing it, but here's the audio of him saying it.
No way. It's not happening.
All fully referenced.
I need Papa Gut to watch this tomorrow.
In order to give you...
He needed me to watch it tomorrow, which was yesterday, so it's today. That's today now. So we're going to watch this as I get a bunch of texts from Costco saying my medication is ready. And let's just get it going.
A long time coming. This has been a long time coming.
Okay. That's what I say every day. Gets in the way of how other things I have to do. It takes too long.
First thought about making this video back in September of 2023, just after we'd lost $119 on Patreon.
Whoa, how'd you lose $119 on Patreon? What the hell?
Yet, ultimately decided to hold off until I was done with our series regarding the...
Wait, how'd you lose?
Just after we'd lost $119 on Patreon.
Alright, that sucks, I guess.
Yet, ultimately decided to hold off until I was done with our series regarding the events of 2019.
That's a long time ago.
That way, I could get back to making the videos I wanted to make and rebuild our audience.
No pride in late. What is it? What does this person do? I don't know what's going on. Nicholas Dioro just demanded I watch this. He threatened me.
Then, sometime in September of 2024, after losing another $90 on Patreon over the span of about 3 months, I took these screenshots in preparation.
All right, I'm just gonna... Alright, it's just Patreon charges.
To make that video, yet I didn't feel like I could at the time, especially not with all the support you'd given us when our previous landlord kicked us out with just 2 weeks' notice.
Damn.
It felt as if asking for more support on Patreon would seem ungrateful, especially as I hadn't really gotten back into the swing of things. So I decided to wait until I'd been posting regularly before doing so. That is why, after a successful few months of pushing...
Here's my thing. Here's what I have to say. If you're gonna do that, listen, I understand what it's like. I don't actually understand what it's like this. I get what it's like though to like not do as well. That's not what I was gonna say. But like what I was gonna say is what you should do is instead of just ask for money on Patreon, maybe do yourself a favor and create a low effort channel like my channel. So that's what I was gonna say when I was like, well, I don't really have this. That's what you should do. Make a low effort React channel to try to get some more money. You know, I understand. Like, listen, you have a Patreon. Some people are going to pay for it. Some people aren't. Make a low effort React channel. You don't even have to like make a stream channel. Stream once a week. And when you stream once a week, go on and have a collection of like TikToks that you can, you know, have a little fun with. React to those and then take one a day and put it up on like YouTube. It's like a little fun stream time where you hang out with your buddies. You know, put it on a YouTube. You can do stream on YouTube, you stream on Twitch, whatever, in case you're you know, worried about DMCA. And have a low effort channel where you're just chilling, you know? It's more fun. It'll probably be a break from the monotony of whatever you typically do, which seems to be more thoughtful video essay type videos. Just do something like that and create a channel where your fans can hang out with you. Hell, you could even do it on this channel. You could just stream on this channel once a week. Hey guys, what's up? And then afterwards, again, I would maybe make a secondary to you know, YouTube because it's different enough where you throw out some fucking shorts. Essence of Thought. Essence of Thought farts. Right? So it's something smaller. That's the... like mine's Papa Gut Bites. So that's what I would do. You know, don't just ask for money on Patreon. It's less consistent. Get your presence out there, and it'll also boost your brand awareness. Because not only are let's say you stream and you have another Bites type channel, put it on TikTok, format it, get it under 3 minutes, format it for TikTok. Well, you can do over 3 minutes on there, but get it up on Instagram, get it up on Twitter, get it up on Snapchat. They do 3 minutes now. I started doing Snapchat. I think I have it in my link tree, but I don't even think that's in my description. So who the fuck cares, right? I'll have to get that to you guys soon. Facebook usually goes with Instagram. You could double upload. Brand awareness, you get to talk about something less crazy, or you can even go in the direction of like, hey, take these videos and figure out how to plug them. You know, go back through your old stuff. This is you're 17 minutes long. Watch through it. Watch through every one of your videos and figure out, you know, one video plug per video. Although I feel like you posting, I would try to get a higher brand awareness, like higher visible availability on, you know, socials, but then like one video every 3 weeks. But you understand my point. I'm just trying to give you a little advice on how to get some money without begging, because that's kind of what Patreon is a little bit, you know. And you could have productive conversations with the stuff you react to. I like to think I do. So she basically said that plagiarizing was traumatic to hear to her as her childhood essay. I don't believe that this person would ever say that. And also, what do they mean by plagiarizing? Like legitimate plagiarism or like online things? Because this is just kind of the way that the atmosphere is. Either get on board or get eaten alive. Like the reality is, whether you like it or not, like this is where things are going. We have AI literally just making content. So when we sit here and we're like, "Well, is reaction, is that theft?" People are just plugging things into an algorithm on their computer. I'm obviously have no idea how it works exactly, and they're pumping out bullshit. Like I saw a video today of like Winnie the Pooh and Piglet cursing at each other, saying slurs to each other on TikTok. It was viral. They didn't draw that; they just AI'd it, and then they had an AI voiceover. That's where things are. So, you know, it's time to embrace where it's happening. You can be as resistant as you want, but nobody else cares. So have a little bit of fun. You'll enjoy yourself, right? Like Nicholas Dioro, for instance. Huge, like, crybaby. Oh, reactions cringe, blah, blah, blah. He's one, like, now he's the biggest H3 orbiter in the entire world. You know what I mean? And he's dating Mika's rhetoric. The fact, by the way. So this is where things are going. Lower effort. And I say contribute to it, especially since you're more of a conversational, I would imagine. I've only watched a minute of this and I've been yapping for 5 minutes, but you're more of a conversational creator. So you could have more conversational reacts. That's what I like to do when I do all my content is more conversational. I usually like to actually add something decent to it. Whereas some people, like yesterday, somebody tagged me, and I reposted, I don't care. Someone tagged me in an old TikTok I made where it was the guy watched my TikTok and then he just went, whatever, man. It's brand awareness. I don't give a fuck. So that's my advice to you, personally.
Pushing out videos on a weekly basis, I opened up a script and managed to write a single line right before my worktop died, forcing us to fundraise for that.
I'm just thinking with the
which,
highest.
By the way, you're incredible. I really cannot overstate just how grateful I am for that support. But it did leave me once again feeling like I couldn't ask for more without sounding ungrateful.
Okay.
So I decided to hold off for another few months.
I make myself fat as fuck.
Then, just the other week, Ian Danskin of Innuendo Studios
Ian Danskin? What the hell's that?
Published a video talking about monetary struggles and the possibility of going bankrupt.
Damn.
And I told myself,
get a job at that point, you know?
I should probably wait a bit in case people feel like I'm trying to bandwagon off of him. And
you, no offense, are way too worried about optics sometimes, it seems like. Should I be a black guy? You're too worried about, I mean, like, I understand being worried about optics and be really white because I'm a super white guy. I understand being, I don't really care about any of this stuff. I understand being worried about optics. I do. But, like, it sounds like you're way too worried about some of this shit.
And it's at that point that I just had to stop myself. I could keep putting this conversation off forever, or at least until another thing breaks.
I don't care enough anymore.
And I don't want to do that. I don't want to stay quiet about our finances until I can no longer replace essential equipment, or even face the prospect of being homeless. I need to talk about this, to try and put things back on.
This is one of the things I like to do. I'm always ready to have to get a real job. That's kind of how I operate. I'm always ready to have to get a new job. And it keeps me a little balanced. You know, this might fall off. And again, though, I do very low effort stuff. You know what I mean? So I would generally recommend that. Shift your content strategy.
On the right track. Starting with the current situation, our Patreon has more than halved in the last few years.
Yep.
Starting in March of 2019, so before our first video during the breakout of transmisia within the Secker community that year, we were bringing in $652 a month.
That's not even a lot of money. I mean, like, that's good. It's nice. I wouldn't turn down $600 a month, but like, how the fuck did you sustain on $600 a month?
This took a bit of a beating around September, dropping us down to $563, but it healed back up to $673 by March of 2020. Okay. This is when the slow decay began. By August of 2023, we dropped down to $498, which then plummeted to $379 that September.
Okay.
This happened whilst Adita had been left unemployed because of government restrictions placed.
Who the fuck is Adita? Is that a friend of yours? This creature on the screen has a vagina mouth.
On the United Nations, which was a major source of funding for human rights organizations across India.
Okay.
1 week, Adita was traveling between states, interviewing victims in order to help develop new training programs. The next, she was out of the job.
Okay.
This, coupled with that sharp drop-off, is why I approached my dad, asking if we could borrow $100 a month to make up for that shortfall, just until Adita could find a job. We had no idea just how—
Is that like your partner? Adita? Is that the partner?
How long that would take at the time. We did manage to build back up to $435 by June of 2024, only for that to plummet back down to $343 by September, which is why I took those screenshots to make this video.
Okay.
That's why I began adding, and we cannot survive without your support, to the opening of each video.
All right. I mean, listen, here's my thing. I understand what it's like to be a creator and struggle. I've been there before, obviously. So I do get that, but like this kind of comes to people. I think that this comes off to me as like, hey, I'm feeling a little desperate. We don't know what to do. Yada yada yada. Please, we need help. I get it. To me, it kind of comes off. I don't know. I feel like so some people it might come off as what the fuck. It might just come off as like a little entitled, and you don't want to like come off as entitled, you know.
I'd hope that as I put out regular videos focusing on external issues, rather than conflict within trans and leftist communities, that things would heal.
Dude, I suck at this game. What the hell
Yet
is this?
they didn't. In fact,
How
they
do you
continue
live?
to get worse, with Patreon dropping below $290.
Okay.
So stepping back to look at the big picture, we've gone from 650 /
Yeah, I'll increase the speed of the video. Sorry. Usually on the first video of the day, I need to take it easy for myself.
$670 a month, down to $290 a month, less than half of what we once made.
Okay.
To see your income shrink month by month, sometimes in small nuggets, sometimes in huge chunks, is fucking terrifying.
Yeah. It's usually when you figure out, get a job or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. Okay.
It feels like I'm standing on a ledge which is slowly crumbling beneath my feet.
I mean, like, legitimate question for you. I obviously don't need an answer, but what are you doing about it? Like, okay, like, you know, what are you doing about it? Are you doing something about it? Are you trying to change your circumstances? Is what you're doing about it just complaining on social and on here? You know what I mean? Like, are you doing anything like more productive? Like, that's the thing is like what you seem to be doing about it is complaining I don't know. It's like you're complaining. It's like, okay, do something productive. I gave plenty of advice in the beginning, but do something a little more productive.
It's one of those things that forces me to lay awake in bed at night,
Ooh.
staring blankly at the ceiling, just dreading
Whoa.
any and all future notifications on Patreon.
Damn.
Now, I just want to be clear, I am not upset at any of the people who drew their pledge.
Yeah, you should be upset with yourself for not like doing enough.
Number one reason for doing so was changing financial situations. This was explained in the exit surveys in 2024.
Well, I kind of doubt that that's what it was. I doubt it was just changing financial situations. I'm sure it was something a little bit more than that.
As seen via the screenshots I took at the time, and remains true to this day.
This game's pissing me off.
But this is something I need to draw attention to, as I just can't live like this. I can't live on a nice edge. I need to bring in enough to start replacing equipment, get on HRT, and save a little in case something terrible happens.
Yeah.
Something I should be clear on.
Do some fucking work.
Is that Adita has found herself a job in the meantime,
Oh.
though it took her over a year and a half due to the current job market.
Cool.
She now works in a tech service call center, 10 hours a day, not including the 3 to 4 hours of daily travel on top of that. She literally gets out of bed, leaves, works, comes back, we sit down to eat together whilst watching a single episode of something, and then goes back to sleep.
So what do you do? Do you work, or do you make your partner do all the work and then you don't work? Because I would start developing pretty deep resentment towards you if that was the case. You know? I'm not saying that to be like fucking pissy or anything. I'm just saying like I would be kind of upset. I would be kind of pissed off. I'd be like, wow, I'm working 10 hours a day. My partner isn't. That kind of sucks, you know? So I think you should consider working. You know what I mean?
That is her daily routine, all for a whopping $200 a month. So just enough money that it replaces what my dad was lending us and the money lost since September of 2023. So even with the job, we haven't made any ground. We're right where we started and can't even begin to think about saving anything.
Okay.
That's why we had to fundraise when my worktop died, in spite of knowing that it was coming for more than a year. And I can't keep living like that. I can't keep worrying that the next thing to break will be the last, the thing that ends us, this channel, my career. I have looked into getting another job.
That's good.
Yet, seeing Adita's job situation, given that she has experience working at international level human rights organizations, yet she's had to get a job out.
Was she working, or was it that she's like volunteering, or
outside her field that severely underpays for the hours she does, tells me that there's not a chance in fucking hell for me. She's worked for both UN Women and UNICEF.
Damn.
Me? I'm a disabled YouTuber. How?
All right. I mean, listen, I don't know what your disability is. Do you have like, you know, how much are you really disabled? I'm not trying to be fucking insensitive, you know. This is just kind of the world we live in. But I think a lot of people are going to watch this and they're going to laugh and they're going to turn it off and not care anymore. And I think that there's going to be more people than you think that are your fans that watch this and start to get like a hint of entitlement. And they get like, what is this? Like, I get it. I don't know what your disability is. What's your disability exactly? Have you ever worked a job before? Like, listen, man, I used to work at a bus company and another job at the same time. I've worked 11, 12-hour days. I actually don't necessarily hate it. It gave you something to do. It's whatever. Like, I don't know. I can fucking be a workhorse, to be honest with you. I don't really give a fuck. I love what I do now. This is what I do. It's fucking great. But, you know, fuck, oh, I'm a disabled. Okay. You too disabled to, like, work at, like, an Aldi or something, or a grocery store, or anywhere? Like, you know, what kind of disability? Does your disability matter? Like, I have ADHD. I have OCD. I'm dyslexic. What's your disability? Are you missing a fucking leg? Was it blown off in a war? You know, I don't know. I don't know. I I don't know, man. Or you know, whatever. I just say man is gender neutral. So, yeah. Are you making excuses? You know, do you think that your excuses are going to work on your partner for that long? You know, if they're working, you know, here's my thing. Let's say your partner's working. I don't mean to be rude. Even if you have a disability, they might be like, you know, we're growing in different directions because they're being productive and maybe you're not. And I think that, again, this is the internet. You could go go stream. You have enough of a platform where you could go stream and you could just have some fun and watch some TikToks and give some insight onto some different things. And you don't even need to get a traditional job. Maybe in the future you will. You know? I'm getting fucking pissed though. But I wish, yeah, I mean, that's it. I don't know.
How the fuck do I market myself to a potential employer when I'm up against people of her experience who are also struggling?
Go work at Starbucks or something.
The one saving grace over the holidays has been AdSense. We've had a couple of good videos, particularly the Rowling versus John Oliver one, money that immediately went into paying taxes, renewing our medical insurance, and AC maintenance. And whilst I hope that keeps up for now, many of you likely already know that AdSense is incredibly fickle. One minute it feels
not for me.
like it's improving, and then the next it feels like the algorithm has a personal vendetta against the channel. In particular, I've noticed YouTube seems to be suggesting older videos less and less. I'm not sure if that's just a result of how many new videos are uploaded daily, less and less channel. In particular, I've noticed YouTube seems to be suggesting older videos less and less.
I feel like the fact that you're even aware of that is it's just to me it suggests that you got to do something else. You're preoccupying your mind with irrelevant shit to me. You know, preoccupy your mind with how to make more content in like a more productive way. That's what I would say do. Hey, I'm going to make some more content. Oh, that's a gun. Hey, I'm going to make a little bit more content. You know, maybe that's what you need to do. Stop worrying so much about stop worrying so much about you know, whatever else. Stop worrying about this. Stop worrying about your analytics. Stop worrying about that. Just pump out more content. You know, it's going to change every other day. There's going to be a fucking new change, you know? So I would try not to concern yourself too much with it. So do I think that some content creators aren't really disabled and say that they are just to not work? I genuinely have a feeling some do and experience mild anxiety. It might be fucked up. I don't know, man. Like, I can't answer that question. I don't fucking know, probably. I mean, I don't really know. I don't know what this person's going through. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what I know or what you know or what this. All that matters is this person and if they want to be honest with themselves or not. So you know, if they're being honest with themselves, like, hey, do you really think that you're doing everything that you can do? Do you really think that you're working within your actual abilities to get your shit together? Like, do you think there's more you could do? Or do you think that you're just like helpless and you literally cannot do anything? That's on them. Like, I feel like they can probably do more than they're actually doing. It seems like they're just sitting around constantly checking Patreon, reading Patreon, looking at analytics, doing this, doing that. Seems like they're just having a very unproductive, they're probably having a very unproductive relationship with their content. If that's what you're doing, maybe you need to change that up. You know, maybe you need to make some meaningful changes.
I'm not sure if that's just a result of how many new videos are uploaded daily, or whether it's just the algorithm that's been updated to more aggressively push new things at the expense of the old, but the result is the same either way. It used to be that every now and then, an old video would get a second wind, bringing in a little extra money, but that no longer happens, at least not for me. YouTube is my full-time career. It has been since I finished my degree in 2017, though I've been running this particular channel since September of 2011. I survived Gamergate, the secular community transmedia outbreak of 2019, and the adpocalypse. I survived...
Okay, I see. So they've had some like older videos do very well. So this has like 740,000. What's your best video? Then 200,000, then 136, 122, 120. So they're somebody who seems to be used to, at least these are years ago though. 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago, 4 years ago. A lot of these are old. Your best viewed videos are really old. You haven't done. This is 4 months ago with 30,000. You haven't done well in a while. I'm not saying that to shit on you. That's okay. Failure is feedback. Just to be clear, like that's how you have to operate. But like just like I just said, failure is feedback. You need you have to take that feedback of your failure and be like, okay, how can I make this productive? Hey, how can I make this productive? That's what you kind of need to do if you want to, do better.
Buy so much shit, yet I am terrified that both the channel and myself are quickly circling the drain without any way back. Which is a big fucking shame, since there's still so much we have to do. The trans community is on fire, both in the UK and the US. We need the...
Yeah, listen. Listening to this kind of shit, it just makes it turns people off. I'm just letting you know.
The trans community is on fire, both in the UK and the US.
Okay.
We need the public to be equipped to fight now more than ever.
Like, there's a lot of importance in what you just said, and I don't necessarily know that you adhere to your own importance level of important. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I talk about stuff, and I like to think that most of it's fucking slop, but I like to think about some of it maybe is important. But I'm also not going to overload it and make it seem like it's that important. You know what I mean? And so maybe you consider the same thing. Like, try not to overload it with self-importance. This guy's fucking me up now. What the hell?
That means we need people who can spend their work hours researching, processing, and distributing information to those of us with less time. I think our research here is important. We break down studies, we watch and report on key threats to the community, we debunk common anti-trans myths, and we explain how the gender-critical movement, formerly known as the TERF movement, operates. We produce an average of 3 to 4 videos a month, all fully referenced in order to give you, the viewer, the ability to check all things for yourself and expand your knowledge. We also refuse to sanitize topics for corporate greed or the sensitivities of violent bigots who will never support us. When we uncover abuse, we label it for what it is without hesitation.
Okay. Tough here. Triangle
we do
the heel.
So because we are survivors ourselves. We know what it's like to have the violence you suffered trivialized as a means of being denied justice.
A lot of this video is really guilt-tripping your audience. I think that this is probably not the play.
This has led some to label us alarmist or hyperbolic, like when we first called out the anti-Semitism and broader fascism, not to mention the sexualization of minors, inherent to the gender-critical movement. Though, I have to say, I feel we've been absolved of any accusations of exaggerating at this point. We also advocate for groups that so few are willing to support. Intersex folk, xenogender folk, trans men and trans masks, those with cluster B disorders, plural folk. We set up PluralKit in our Discord server, and we've had several plural folk tell us that they're surprised to see it there because most server owners refuse to set it up. Our Discord community is also the only place we know of that truly has zero tolerance for ableism, even the socially acceptable kinds. For some people, our spaces are one of maybe 2 or 3 public spaces where they feel accepted. I hope you can see the worth in that, even if I struggle with doing so at times. I
wonder how important your content is. I'm not trying to be rude. My content is not important, but it sounds like you filled it with a lot of self-importance. And this comes off heavily as you're guilting people into giving you money. Hey guys, I do a lot of incredible things for so many groups of people through my social advocacy, through my creation of YouTube videos. Why don't you donate more on my Patreon? By the way, my partner works 10 hours a day and I can't have a job because I'm disabled, whatever that means. Okay, cool.
I often feel like an imposter, someone who walked into things and doesn't deserve any of the support I do receive.
I don't think you feel that way. I think that you feel like you deserve more than the support that you get, or else you wouldn't have made this fucking video. I'm not trying to shit on this person either. I'm not oh, fuck you. I'm trying to just be absolutely keeping it 100 with you. That's what I'm just trying to keep it real.
I regularly have to stop and remind myself of some of the good we've done, affirming myself throughout the day. Half a dozen people.
Where's there a
That's
lever?
how many have told me at one point or another that my work is among the reasons they are still walking on this earth.
A half a dozen? 6 people told you that? Oh, there's the lever. That's crazy. What?
Half a dozen people who would be dead, walking around, living their lives thanks to us. About a dozen more have told me that my strength in the face of...
Listen, I always say it. If somebody messages you and they say, hey, you saved me, they would have been saved by like a Taylor Swift song. You know, that's how I feel about my own stuff. It makes me feel nice too, but I try not to get too inflated by the idea of it, you know? You don't want to get too full of yourself for obvious reasons.
of violence and bigotry has in turn given them the strength to finish their degree, leave a toxic workplace, or escape an abusive household.
Okay.
I can't even begin to estimate how many have told me that my work here gave them the tools to go out and convince family members or work colleagues that trans people are not the monsters they've been led to believe we are.
I'll throw pebbles at
That
people.
last bit, by the way, that is why we do what we do. Our primary objective here on the channel.
Hey.
That is why I get out of bed in the morning.
Bitch.
I know I'm not the most charismatic. I don't pass. I'm unabashedly autistic. I just don't appear...
Is that the disability you're saying prevents you from working? Listen, I'm like a little hardened. Not like sexually. But people are going to cringe when I say it. My wife works with people in the IDD community, and like their autism has like a profound impact on their ability to do certain things. And when I hear somebody like this, like I'm sure that it has, you know, I'm sure that it impacts you. I wouldn't doubt that at all. Do you think it's enough to like prevent you from working a job? Is that the disability you're talking about? And you don't have to answer me. I don't give a fuck. I mean, you just have to answer yourself. Are you being honest with yourself? You know, that you really can't work? I don't know.
Appeal to many cis people, particularly
look at all these
small-time
guys.
bigots.
Let's throw pebbles
I
at them.
know that I'm not going to have some grand sweeping effects on the perceptions of trans people by general society. I am just a random trans YouTuber to most people. But what I can do is equip those of you watching with the tools to be advocates. Because the arguments we present here, taken and presented by you, whether you're another trans person or ICIS ally, will have a
ISIS ally? What the fuck? Oh, ISIS ally, sorry.
much greater impact in changing the minds of fence sitters and even these small-time bigots in your life.
Small-time
bigots. That is our primary goal here, and I would hope that is something
look at this guy.
worth supporting. I'm not asking for thousands or even tens of thousands a month like some
usually go down. I'm not even asking for thousands or even hundreds a month like some. I'm just asking for $1.
YouTubers. I don't expect nor want a luxurious lifestyle.
Oh, that guy
I just want to be able to stop being afraid of what's coming. I just want to be able to begin HRT and enjoy the small things in life while saving a little for when things go bad. I just want to see some return on the work I do each and every day. I've previously mentioned that my therapist helped me devise a new system of keeping track of my work hours. That was not because I was underworking, but because before I figured out how to keep track of my hours, every moment I spent not working felt like time stolen from the community. That I hadn't done my due hours, that I was lazy and had abandoned my community in its time of need. It felt like betrayal. This wasn't helped.
A lot of this just feels very self-important. Like there's a lot going on here, you know?
By the whole myth of meritocracy that was instilled in me as a child, as with many people, leading me to perceive my lack of stability as proof that I wasn't doing enough.
Kind of seems like you're not doing enough. I don't know. It just seems like, what are you doing? Seems like you're not doing enough. What are you talking about? I don't know.
Suffice to say, I keep track of my hours in order to make sure I don't burn myself out.
Oh, okay. I don't keep track of my hours because I don't care. I just go based on feeling. Like, I think yesterday I worked like 10 hours. And like, it's easy as fuck, so I'm not complaining. But I got up early. And I had to schedule a bunch of... It was all bullshit. It's like all this. It's just fucking bullshit. I had to schedule stuff. I did this. The gun is for parry? What? I don't know what that means. Anyway, you know, I had to schedule a bunch of work, and then I had to do some editing here and there. But I do have an editor, but like I like to do some of it myself. And then I'm still training her. You know? So... blah blah blah, streams, yada 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 yada, whatever. It doesn't matter. But I don't track it. If I feel like I'm doing too much, Like maybe I'll reduce that, I guess. I don't know. Try to be a little more productive, but I don't know. What are you tracking your hours? Like how much are you doing that you feel like you need to track your hours?
I have given my mind and body to the cause. I have turned down work opportunities because said opportunities were premised on ignoring bigotry.
Maybe you needed to not ignore those work opportunities. Maybe you need to do some work. That might be a little more productive for you. You do that. I don't know. Does that make sense to anybody else, or I don't know. Okay.
More specifically, the torture of LGBT plus youth. I have stood up to bullies and tyrants many times my size.
Nice. Like Goliath or David or whatever.
And I have never backed down at the cost of the community.
Never back down, never what? Never give up.
I keep the names of those lost with me.
Whoa.
The likes of Tony McDade and Vicky Thompson. Trans people who...
Listen, it sounds like those people passed away. I'm gonna keep it real. It sounds like you are absolutely weaponizing their tragic, I'm assuming, passing. That does not come off as particularly good here. This doesn't come off very well. This comes off as like, hey, I'm a YouTuber. I'm very important. I stand for dead trans people. Like, I'm really a good person. It's like, you gotta chill with that a little bit. It comes off as condescending to them, honestly. That's how I interpret it.
Many, even those within the community, consider imperfect victims that are thus undeserving of justice or even acknowledgement explicitly because nobody else is willing to advocate for them.
Okay.
Through constant abuse and
This video is a guilt trip.
violence, for which I am medicated and receiving therapy for.
All right, that's cool. I went to therapy before for like a long time too, and I think it's a beautiful thing. But to be clear, the way that you should interact with your mental health is not in a way that is maybe more victim-esque, you know? Hey, I like the way I like to interact is like, you know, you have issues and it's good to acknowledge those issues. To be productive, so you know why you have certain problems. So like, you know, they said they have autism. I'm like, okay, you know, I have ADHD, right? So how does it impact me? You know, how does it impact me? Oh, you know, sometimes maybe I get a little distracted or blah 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 blah. Whatever, doesn't really matter, right? Damn. Those guys went down. I lit them on fire, dude. That's fucked up. What's up, bitches? I just lit your fucking family on fire. It's good to like maybe it's good to figure it out so you know how to interact with your behaviors more productively. But you don't want to, you know, acknowledge mental health issues but utilize them as like a shield from any meaningful criticism or, you know, actual work. You don't want to be the person that. You know, you don't want to be the person that does that. You know, it's good to acknowledge them, but it's not good to take them and use them as excuses for bad behavior, which might be what you're doing. I mean, again, I don't really know. I don't know you. You have to be honest with yourself. It doesn't matter. You could be like, I'm not doing any of that. Nothing you're saying is correct. Nothing you're saying is correct at all. You're wrong. Okay. I mean, that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, it only really matters for you. If you're honest with yourself. Oh, shit, he fucking headbutted me.
I have continued to give things my all. Which is why I need you, especially if you're a cis ally.
Wait.
Again, I know trans people in the UK and the US are suffering right now, but I also know that many of you are cis people or are trans people in countries where things aren't quite as bad, some of whom have wondered what they can do to help.
Like, what country do you think people are watching your content from?
Well, here's one material way that you can do just that by supporting trans voices like ours.
Yeah.
We need to get back up to $500 on Patreon. This would give us the funds to replace equipment, begin my HRT, save a little, as well as have some small luxuries like food during my downtime.
Small luxuries like food. Incredible.
Just the little things that give life meaning, allowing me to live rather than merely survive. That's just
Why don't you get a fucking job?
over $200, which might sound like a lot, but if 50 people put down $5 a month, that would resolve our financial worries overnight.
I'm not trying to be fucking rude. Your partner works 10 hours a day, and you're just looking for $250 a month. Like, that's like a lot. Like, get a job. Do more content. I don't know. I don't like this video. I'm trying to be nice, but this is like, This is fucking preposterous. If I'm keeping it 100 with you, this is fucking preposterous. This comes off as very entitled. Just to be clear, it really does, and like I think a lot of people are interpreting it as that way as well. So you're not really helping yourself. So
$5. What can you buy these days for $5? And yet, that $5 can be a life-changing thing if enough people give it. No amount is too small when it comes to crowdfunding. Every $1, $2, or $3 helps towards that goal.
okay.
It is doable. I know.
You realize you're begging for money right now, right? Like, come on. It's doable, you know? I guess so. Oh, I probably respawn here now. Oh, okay. That was silly.
We've done it before. We just need to build back to that point.
Okay.
It should also be mentioned that those who donate $10 or more will get their username in the credits of every video once they're a patron, and those who give $20 or more will have their name read out loud by myself personally.
Wow.
So that's a great way for you to make your permanent mark on the channel's legacy, a way for you to say that you did your part during the community's darkest hour.
The community's darkest hour. Holy fuck. This is so important.
Outside of this video, I'm going to start pushing Patreon more, both in videos and on social media. There's been a little hesitancy over this in the past, but again, I cannot live under the current system.
The current system. I love it. Because the insinuation is that, hey, the system is so broken, I can't survive. I understand the system's broken. I get it. Yada, yada, yada. All you can do is worry about the micro right now. You know, all you can do is just try to do a little bit better. That's all you could do. That's literally it. Or you can complain about everything. You could also do that if you really want to, I guess. Like if that's how you want to interact with you. You can do that as well. You can complain about you can complain about everything. You can just do whatever you want. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm letting you know, like, you're just, what are you saying? What do you want people to do about this? I don't know. It just comes off as like a lot of complaining. You know, you're not going to fix this system tomorrow. So you can either live within it and try to succeed, which it seems like you have the means to do. You just don't want to actually try to do it. Or you can make excuses for yourself. I mean, you do whatever the fuck you want.
Something needs to give, and I'd rather swallow my pride than end my career. I also need you.
Wait, you'd rather swallow your pride?
Give, and I'd rather swallow my pride than end my career.
Ending your career probably would be swallowing your pride, just to be absolutely clear. I'm not saying you should end your career. There's 1,000 things you could do, but like this idea that it was like one or the other is silly goosery. Like, begging for money is not the way. It's not swallowing your pride. It's like giving up any level of dignity when you haven't exhausted any other option. You haven't even like tried a little harder. It just seems like you haven't done anything. Like a fucking React channel. You know, we want to tell you.
I also need you to start sharing our videos more often. Whenever we post, maybe just think of one thing you learned or your answers to the questions at the end and post that to social media alongside a link to the video. The more people who become a part of our community, the easier it becomes to reach our goal. I'm open to any and all suggestions on how to boost viewership. I've been trying to make things a little more casual across the last few videos, something I felt was lost at the end of 2019. So please share any suggestions for things I can change, or even ideas for topics you think could draw people in.
Do React content.
Either down below, or
make a Discord full of people that are your fans. Here's my idea. Here's your my unironic advice. If there's anything that you watch in this whole video, if you watch it, here's my one big piece of advice, okay? Stream either on this channel or another channel. Create a $2 a month membership. Link it to a Discord, so you have to have that membership to join the Discord. Ask people for suggestions in the Discord for stuff that you want to react to. Mostly maybe short form content is a really good idea. That's probably related to trans stuff, since that seems to be your bread and butter, or other social issues. React once a week to a bunch of these TikToks. Try to keep them short and sweet. Make another channel to post them on once per day that can generate revenue and generate brand awareness, and post them on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter. That'll get you brand awareness for your like stream part of this, and then people might stick around also for your video essay type of content. That's my That's the advice that I would give you. That's it. That's all you can do. But the rest of this is just you complaining and begging for money, and it's not a good look. And I think that a lot of people, I'm sure you're getting some positive support, but people are also going to turn away from your channel because they find this to be pathetic. So,
or you could always message me privately via our Discord server, which will be linked in the video description down below. Please, help me make 2025 the year that Essence of Thought returns to its fully functioning state. Give me security so that I can best serve our community, particularly those largely ignored. We can make that happen.
Okay.
Together.
This is so weird.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to what I had to say. And an especially big
Did you write a script for this? You know, you weren't even, it sounds like you probably wrote a script for this.
thank you to our patrons, like the people currently shown on screen. Your support is what allows us to do what we do. In particular, we'd like to thank the following people: Matthew Kovac, Flynn, and Higgins the Seagull. And for myself, Edita, and Levi, take care now.